Hello everyone. In this oral presentation, I'm going to present the best 20 movie directors of all time. Robert Altman. His greatest films are known for capturing so much of the messiness and even monstrosity of late Western civilization. Some of his films are MASH, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and Nashville. Andrei Tarkovsky. His films are intensely intimate, occasionally controversial, and always beautiful in every frame. For example, Ivan's Childhood, Mirror, and The Sacrifice. David Lean. His film, in which reserve and brief encounter were intimate but nonetheless immensely powerful stories of Britain and Britain's at war. Michael Powell. Powell and Pressburger took a while to get going, making several fairly unastonishing films before entering the imperial phase in the mid-40s, such as Canterbury Tales, I Know Where I'm Going, and A Matter of Life and Death. Buster Keaton. His film, Steamboat Bill Jr., was virtually Keaton's own cinematic epitaph, as he too will become a victim of technological change when the arrival of sound finally ended the silent age that he had been the face of. Howard Hawks. He was one of the greatest Hollywood directors ever, mastering many different genres and elitizing career performances from superstars, producing films such as Scarface, To Have and Have Not, and Rio Bravo. Francis Ford Coppola. In short, Coppola could set his 70s against any other equivalent period in a great filmmaker's career and being confident of coming out of top. He is known for wrote and directed The Godfather Part 1 and 2. Carl Theodor Dreyer. He brought a singularly Scandinavian sensibility to filmmaking, constructed a cold, austere, almost Arctic darkness of subject matters, with spectacular and beautiful aurora borealis-like displays of emotions to his films La Passion de Jeanne d'Arc and Vampire. Martin Scorsese. The characters in his films are often in a continuous existential struggle, and many of them get lost in the midst of the search of their place in the world, as they are corrupted and seduced by the dark side of human condition. Some of said films are Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. Yasuhiro Ozu. His film Tokyo Story is arguably the greatest film ever made about family, are amongst the most haunting and hauntingly beautiful films ever made. Orson Welles. Its film Citizen Kane revolutionized screen storytelling with its complex, oblique, shaken-up snow globe approach to biodrama. Akira Kurosawa. For Kurosawa, the goal of cinema should not be the ultimate expression of the artist, but the realization of that dream. One world, one earth. Some of his most known films are Seven Samurai and Rashomon. Alfred Hitchcock. His films Rear Window, Vertigo, and North by Northwest were the best cinematic expression of existential fear that gripped humanity in the decade after Hiroshima. Billy Wilder. He was able to impose a moralistic and caustic style. He invoked controversial themes in his comedy films such as The Apartment, and tried to challenge general opinion and Anglo-Saxon Puritanism. Robert Bresson. His films like Pickpocket and Au Hazard Balthazar are characterized by their austerity, formal rigor, and thematic thoroughness. Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick proved himself a master of almost all cinematic genres, from noir to sci-fi to period drama, directing films such as Barry Lyndon and The Shining. Federico Fellini. Fellini first emerged from the Italian neorealism that immediately followed World War II. However, he emerged fully formed in the 50s with The Layabouts and La Strada. Ingmar Bergman. Bergman broke through after a number of early unsuccessful films in the mid of the 50s with Smiles of a Summer Night, a romantic comedy that came to stand in stark contrast with so much of his later and darker output. Jean-Luc Godard. The recent death of Jean-Luc Godard reminded cinema, and especially the 21st century filmgoers, of his central, indeed seminal, importance of the cinema, with Breathless being his greatest debut in film history. Jean Renoir. His films, The Grand Illusion and The Rules of the Game, look back to the World War I and project forward to World War II, right on the eve of it. Well, that will be everything from my presentation. Thank you very much.